Thanks for having me. I am Dar Wavemaker, and I'm running for Tallahassee City Commission Seat 3. I moved to Tallahassee when I was 7 years old, grew up in public housing, and I am the only working class candidate in this race who actually grew up here. Since I was a teenager, I've worked alongside neighbors on community gardens, food access, and environmental stewardship. I've been a musician, a slam poet. I've opened portals of wellness like Whole Foods, Lucky's, and the Frenchtown Farmers Market. I now own my own businesses, and I know what it's like to be self-propelled. I rode my bike everywhere until I got hit when I was 26, and that means I've smelled plenty of roses in Tallahassee. I've worked in every field from manual labor to retail to hospitality to delivery and rideshare. I speak to people across the city from all walks of life who feel that City Hall hasn't heard them. I've seen parts of this city that most people never will. We lost our home in Panama City when I was 7 years old, came to Tallahassee because we had the prospect of my dad being relocated to Tallahassee Road Prison. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to find creativity and ingenuity in a vacuum. When you find that crack of light in the darkness, I believe it's a leader's responsibility to turn it into a door and show others the way. I'm running because I believe our city would work best with working class people having a real voice in the decisions that affect them. I know what it's like to be a poor black kid living in public housing in Tallahassee, being accountable to, but totally removed from, the choices the men and women in these seats make. Growing up here, I've watched the kids who showed me how to steal, die from gun violence before they were 18. I've seen friends in their 20s die from suicide and fentanyl poisoning. I've been unreasonably targeted by the police. I've been assaulted, punched, tackled, headlocked in the name of justice by those same officers right here in Tallahassee for things like standing up for felons' right to vote. My campaign is truly grassroots. It's powered by volunteers, many of them in the first campaign of their lives, voters who hadn't had enough hope to vote since Bill Clinton, and everyday people who believe our city can do better. Not just that, but that it's now or never. My platform has been, by far, the most defined in this race as it pertains to our aging population, which we'll need infrastructure built as a slow bullet of retirement for baby boomers and Gen Xers approaches us. In just the next 15 years, Tallahassee will age to where 1 in 4 residents will be over the age of 60. No other candidate is talking about this. Young people currently have the hardest time with housing and economic opportunity. People without things to do here, leave. Families without activities on the weekends to do, go. And just like that, we slowly become a city that extrapolates wealth from the elderly and students with no space for anyone in between to exist. We talk about industry. Everyone asks, what industry should come to Tallahassee? I believe 100 strong small businesses are far more sustainable than looking for one big corporation. When residents control their means, residents control their outcomes. It's time we capitalize on what we do have, resources that don't expire, creativity and innovation. We live in one of the most biodiverse regions in the United States where we could literally model a sustainable city of the future, and instead we're over here selling public assets. It's like when mom had to go pawn her jewelry to pay the bills. These cuts are not solutions. What we envision and decide to produce are. I believe that we need to create pipelines for business and entrepreneurship, building a pipeline for workers to become owner-operators, and for long-term residents to have equity and stake in the neighborhoods they help build. I've created policy around urban density, long-term resident homeownership, drafted models that will actually create revenue and resources like waste reduction programs, cooperative rideshare models that pay into the city, and talked about bolstering the FAMU FSU College of Engineering to keep students close to campus and innovating technology that produces clean energy that could fuel the region. I got into this race late, so I'm not sure many of the people that should be paying attention have. If we truly want to grow this party, as we say we do, if we truly want to reach young people, working class families, lifelong Tallahassee residents, and especially young and black voters, then we have to ask ourselves whether we're creating space for those voices to lead, or if we're unintentionally reinforcing the same pathways that we've been conditioned to rely on. I'm standing here as someone who was raised here, who has been serving this community for nothing since I was a child, someone who has built a campaign from the ground up. While other campaigns have consultants, seasoned campaigners, and spend thousands of dollars on all of their materials, I designed that all on my own. I got called a newcomer, I've been called an underdog, but what I am is something far more different than that. I've been in room after room filled with passionate elder Democrats who tell me how excited they are to see someone like me being involved. I appreciate that. But I don't just want to see me in these rooms. I want to see these rooms full of new blood and in full technicolor. If we want young people to participate and get involved, then we also need to have a path to leadership. They need to see people who look like them, who grew up like them, and who understand their experience as being trusted with the microphone and not just invited to the audience and pushed blindly to the polls. If we want different results, we have to be willing to invest in different people. We have to invite people that we don't know to the cookout. I'm here because I want to uplift, activate, amplify, and illuminate the voices of those who have historically been underserved, underheard, and unseen. Building a community centered in sustainability, love, dignity, and respect is my vision. I've known from a young age that I'm from this city, that the key to so many of our problems lie within one another. Good things happen when good people gather. It's a little bit more. One of my biggest objectives as city commissioner is being available, relatable, and present in the community in a way that none of us have yet seen from leadership. I speak as a resident when I say, we are ready for things to change in a big way. If we want to help the people slipping through the cracks, we have to amplify the voices of the people rising out of them. They tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds. If you'd like to be in touch, that's literally the end, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.